Shedeur Sanders has a new number with the Cleveland Browns, and a lot of fans are upset.
You are Locked On Buffs, your daily podcast on the Colorado Buffaloes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Buffs. I'm your host, Kevin Borba. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. We are also brought to you by the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day for free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow so I can keep my job. Okay, let's talk about it. Shedeur Sanders, the NFL draft experience was one that I think a lot of people were shocked by. A lot of people were rubbed the wrong way about or by. And a lot of people are still left asking questions as to like what the hell happened. And so he fell from being a projected first round pick to being I think it was fifth round, 144th pick overall, fifth quarterback taken. The Browns even took him as the second quarterback of the draft on their draft board, as they took Dillon Gabriel in the third. So there's a lot of people that are like, okay, the Browns are disrespecting Shedeur Sanders. And let's just preface this. Shedeur Sanders has an uphill journey in the NFL, at least at the beginning. I think he could start, right? I think he has a chance to. That Browns quarterback room, I think, is atrocious, right? It's probably one of the worst quarterback rooms in the NFL right now. Their most proven quarterback is an aged Joe Flacco. He's like 75 years old. They have Kenny Two Gloves Pickett, who is about as big of a bust as he can be, and then Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur, right? So it's two, I would say, an old veteran in Joe Flacco, who's pretty serviceable, a bust in Kenny Pickett, and then you have Deshaun Watson, who's never going to play for the Browns again, according to multiple reports. And so a lot of people are upset with the Browns already over the treatment of Shedeur because they gave away his number 2 to DeAndre Carter, a veteran wide receiver who's been around, right? He's played for a bunch of teams in the NFL, a journeyman, if you will, and a lot of people are upset about it. He got number 2. He's never worn number 2 in his career. He wore 16, 14, 19, 1, 1, 82, 3, 11. And so he got to pick those numbers. We saw in the post-draft of content that the Browns put out that they reserve the numbers 1 through 19 for the quarterbacks. And the coaches have to give the stamp of approval. And so clearly that means the coaches gave Carter, who they signed for a 1-year deal this offseason, the stamp of approval to wear number 2. And so I think there's a couple ways you could look at this, right? You could look at this as the Browns sending Shedeur a message like, hey, you are no longer the guy here. You are no longer running the show, calling the shots. Or you could look at Shedeur's new number, which is 12, as a new form of motivation, right? And I think Andrew Hawkins from ESPN wrote it best on X. He put number 12 is the number his dad made famous, 21 backwards, right? 1, 2, 2, 1, right? Flip it. It's kind of cool right there. His mentor, Tom Brady, number 12, wore it. He said he passed him 5 times. Tom Brady said he wasn't involved in the draft that much, right? I think the only quarterback that Tom Brady had to say in the Raiders drafting was Cam Miller, which was North Dakota State quarterback who Colorado fans saw in the first game. Pretty good guy, right? Mobile, dynamic. So that was the only guy that Tom Brady advocated for. But he's Shedeur's mentor. He trained him before he went to Jackson State. So honoring like him, 12 times 12 is 144 for you math whizzes out there. And that's the draft pick that Shedeur was. So maybe there's a little bit of extra motivation there. And then that's the amount of hours listed on his AP. Perfect timing. So one of those things where, or his AP, I think that's the watch, not the song. I apologize. So I think there's a lot of ways to interpret Shedeur's numbers. They also said numbers aren't finalized until after training camp and all that. So just because Shedeur's number 12 now doesn't mean he can't get number 2 if he makes the roster and say Carter's cut. But I do think a lot of people are wanting to be mad about this, right? I think a lot of people wanted there to be some sort of reservation for Shedeur. And I think everyone who wants there to be this reservation for Shedeur or this special treatment for Shedeur are missing the point here, right? I think Shedeur has a prime opportunity, no pun intended with the prime part, has a prime opportunity to showcase, 1, all these teams made a mistake by passing on him. 2, that he can be a franchise quarterback. 3, he could earn his everything, right? And I'm not saying he hasn't earned anything yet, but I don't think a lot of people will view it that way, right? He goes to Jackson State to play for his dad. And then he transfers to Colorado, where his dad names him the starter before he had even transferred to Colorado, right? So even though Shedeur had to go out on the field and ball out, which he did, right? 100 school records, leading the team to its best record since 2016, winning Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year, getting his number retired. There are a lot of people who don't feel like he earned everything he's gotten. Do I think that's fair? No. Am I saying me, Kevin Borba, that Shedeur Sanders didn't earn anything? No. But that's sort of the perception around him because his dad has been so heavily involved in his football career. And so this gives Shedeur a chance to prove to people like, hey, I'm not the guy that everyone is painting me out to be. I could come in here. I can grind. I'm not this superstar personality who thinks I'm better than everyone or who thinks that everything should be handed to me. And so I understand people are a little jaded by DeAndre Carter picking the number. Maybe it has meaning to him. I don't know, right? I don't know much about DeAndre Carter. He's a journeyman wide receiver who, at the end of the day, has bounced around. It's one of those things where if you look at his playing career, he's been with the Ravens, the Raiders, the Pats, the 49ers, the Eagles, the Texans, the Bears, the Commanders, the Chargers, the Raiders, the Bears, and now the Browns, right? He's been all over the place. He's just one of those guys who I think earned the right as a veteran to pick his number, so we don't really need to be up in arms about it. But it is worth noting, like, he did wear 2 in college, right? I believe I'm finding pictures of him in number 2 at college. So clearly there's something there for him, I guess you could say, right? So the numbers aren't the biggest deal, right? I think a lot of people get this confused where the number makes the player makes the number, right? Shedeur can wear number 65. If he ends up being a legend, guess what? 65 is forever immortalized. Wow. Immortality. Wow. You know what I mean, right? It is forever an iconic number. I can't think of the word that I'm trying to say, but you guys know what I mean. So Shedeur can make this number 12 what it can be or what he wants it to be for the Browns, right? I don't think it's the end of the world, but it is interesting that they gave away his number. Could be a message to him, or just could be a little bit of veteran hazing. Maybe Carter wants Shedeur to buy it off of him. Who knows, right? I guess we'll find out as the season approaches, but Shedeur did not get number 2. I think it's okay. Right? I think there's more to life than getting the right number or getting a certain number. Obviously, that number could mean a lot to Shedeur, but he has to earn it. And I think it's not the worst thing for him. I think it'll just prove to people that there's a lot more right with him in the sense of he wants to work and he wants to earn things than what other people are willing to give him credit for. When we come back, we're going to be talking about why a fan, let me get this situated here, is suing the NFL for $100 million because of Shedeur Sanders. This episode of Locked On Buffs is brought to you by our sponsors over at Upwork. Scaling your business requires the right expertise at the right time. So with Upwork, you can find specialized freelancers in marketing, development, design, and more, experts ready to help you take your business to the next level. Upwork gives business flexibility by connecting them with top freelance talent across multiple industries, including IT, AI, web development, and marketing. Whether you need extra hands for a project or a long-term partner, Upwork makes hiring simple and affordable. It helps you find the right talent. If you need help with a marketing campaign, Upwork can connect you with a freelance expert who delivers incredible results. So visit Upwork.com right now and post your job for free. That's UPWORK.com, Upwork.com to connect with top talent and grow your business today. Welcome back to Locked On Buffs. Appreciate you guys for tuning in every single day, making me your first listen of the day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast. There's a fan who is suing the NFL for $100 million. The lawsuit has been filed. The plaintiff is suing for emotional distress, slander, unfair draft practices, citing harmful statements made about Shedeur Sanders. And then the suit in result is demanding a public retraction and an apology. I don't know who from, maybe the NFL or the teams, I guess. A draft reform, which is a readjustment to the format of the draft, which I don't know if it will necessarily happen. And then $100 million in punitive damages. So yeah, I think that is interesting. The person is suing them anonymously, so we don't know who it is. I wanted to talk about it though, because I think while it is kind of funny, it's haha, right? Or sue the NFL for 100 million, sue the NFL for all they got, right? Obviously 100 millions. They make more than that. So, and that's not the end of the world for them. I don't think this case is going to amount to anything. I do think there's a couple of reasons, and I'll sort of work through this logically and then give you my take on why I don't think this is really helping Shedeur's case in the eyes of the public. One, I understand people are upset, right? Shedeur Sanders was an All-American, Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year, Johnny Unitas Golden Arm winner. He completed the most his career completion percentage. Excuse me, word soup there. Highest in college football history. He accomplished a lot in Colorado, and I don't think he was properly given credit for what he's done, because I think a lot of people were wanting to hold the fact that he's Deion Sanders' son against him. Now, is it fair? No. Did it happen? Yes. And I think a lot of people, sorry, as I adjust my laptop on the desk here, I think a lot of people were very rubbed the wrong way about the pre-draft rumors of him not killing it with certain teams, right? The Giants apparently called him out and he got mad and told him he wasn't for them. And I think there's a lot of people that are okay, Raul, relax. Someone in the comment section just said Cleveland agreed to retire his number after he makes a practice squad. Come on now, relax. But no, I think a lot of people are upset with how Shedeur was treated during the pre-draft process because, and I'm not trying to tear down Cam Ward, but Cam Ward is a prime example, right? This whole monster that they made Shedeur made out to be, right? He's too confident, he's brash, he's arrogant. Has anyone seen those videos of Cam Ward and Shedeur going at it, right? Has anyone seen how Cam Ward plays, right? I think he's pretty confident, borderline cocky, and that's okay. I think having a quarterback with confidence is not the worst thing, right? The NFL is meant to break you, right? Defenses are trying to ruin your career. Coaches will give you 2 years max, maybe 3, if they were the coach that drafted you and they're early on in their contract to figure it out. Otherwise, they cut you, right? The NFL stands for not for long, and so I think you want a quarterback that can handle some criticism. And I think the fans suing the NFL is funny. I'm not a legal expert, so I don't know how this is going to work out. If I was going to guess, which I'm not giving you any legal advice, I don't think this is going to work out for the fan. I don't think they're going to win any money. That being said, I think them suing the NFL hurts Shedeur in a way. I don't think it'll impact his play, but you already know it's going to become a distraction, right? And I think that's part of what teams were afraid of once he started falling out of the first 3 rounds is, okay, now we draft him as a backup, and if we don't play him, or we give certain, like, say, for instance, we'll use the Browns as an example because this very well could happen. Say the Browns start Joe Flacco, and Joe Flacco, I mean, he's 47. It feels like 49. I don't know how old he is. Say Joe Flacco's starting, he struggles, and it's like, okay, not great. Fans are going to be calling for Shedeur. Teammates are going to gravitate towards him, which isn't a bad thing, but there's going to be an inter-locker room, I guess divide, if you will, because players think he's good, right? Malik Neighbors said he was good. So there's that. Then his dad may tweet something like, wow, I think he should play, or maybe he's going to tweet an eyeball emoji, or maybe they're going to go to Kenny Pickett or Dylan Gabriel instead of Shedeur first. And it's like, okay, well, now people are opening this whole ordeal up to distraction. And I think this is an example of Shedeur. He's not a distraction, but the things around him can become a distraction, right? And you already know his first media availability, someone's going to ask him about a fan suing the NFL for $100 million because of him. And I think fans think by expressing outrage that they're helping Shedeur. But if anything, I feel like the public outrage and the constant attacking of people that aren't giving Shedeur or giving that people what they want for Shedeur, I don't really think that's helping him. Could be hurting him, right? If people view him as a distraction and he's a borderline roster player, right? Say it comes down to Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur, and they're like, these guys are neck and neck. It's hard to tell who we want more. And then you think, and the team thinks to themselves, well, they're studying the playbook the same. Their stats are identical, right? And there's no ties to anyone. It's just like, who do we trust more, right? Or who do we want in our room more? The guy who is because I think Shedeur is going to be a great teammate. I do. But do you want a guy who no one's really talking about and doesn't become a distraction? The fans aren't constantly putting the pressure on the team to play him and the media is not constantly asking about him? Or do you want a guy who the fans are constantly harassing the team about or suing the NFL over or causing a disruption because they want him to play? Like, this could hurt Shedeur more than it could help him. That's all I'm saying, right? I don't think it will, but things like this could hurt Shedeur's image in and around the NFL because you're not really – it's like the parent complaining or going to a teacher and being like, hey, this kid's bullying my son, right? If someone's being bullied, the worst thing possible is for a parent to go to the school and be like, hey, you're bullying my son. And I think the worst thing possible for Shedeur Sanders is for him, or I guess the people around him, fans, family, whoever it is, to make him a distraction. And I feel like this lawsuit is kind of doing that, right? Comment below what you think. I feel like that's going to be a divisive take, but it's not meant to be. I just feel like there's other ways you could support Shedeur Sanders without, I guess, ruining his image, if you will, or making a mockery of him, if you will. So let me know what you guys think. When we come back, we're going to be talking about why Colorado can be the new running back university, apparently. This episode of Locked On Buffs is brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are in full swing, and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live with player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays. Fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. New to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Welcome back to Locked On Buffs. I'm Kevin Borba, the host. I write about college football over at Athlon. Go check me out over there. Covering college football, NBA, everything in between. I'm covering it. I got you guys covered. So let's talk about it. The Colorado Buffaloes are making some big swings in recruiting, right? They had multiple 5-stars on campus this past weekend, and I think that there's a lot to be excited about with Deion Sanders at the helm, with Deion Sanders pledging to be in Boulder long-term. I said this from the moment that I heard concerns over his contract and from the moment he signed it. As soon as recruits find out that Deion Sanders is going to be in Colorado long-term, Colorado could turn into a recruiting juggernaut. That also factors him, Coach Brian, that is, committing to recruiting. And so the number 3 ranked running back in the country was one of the top prospects in who was able to attend Boulder this past weekend. And he had this to say: my time being in Colorado was good, and the view with the mountains towering the stadium, which being a Texas boy, you hardly see any landscape like it is in Boulder, Colorado. The main message was they could use me right now just because I could play any position on the field, and I'm just an overall complete running back, and they play their freshman kids as long as they work their butts off for a starting position. And then he says the coaches that are there have spent many years in the league, so they know what they're talking about and understand the game of football. And with Marshall Faulk coming into play, RBU will be coming to see you shortly. Now, I love this energy from Colorado. I love this energy from Mr. Edwards here, but I think Colorado really needs to take this more seriously than like just the saying, right? I think Colorado needs to show like, hey, we're willing to run the ball. Like, hey, we want to attract top running backs. I think, and I say this all the time, and again, I don't know how he felt so far, but Shedeur Sanders masked so many issues with this Colorado offense. No, tell me if you believe me, but I mean, I'm sure you may or may not. Colorado has not had a 100-yard rusher under Deion Sanders. Isaiah Gustav was the closest. I think he ran for, it was 94 yards one time. The past couple years, their leading rushers had over 300 yards on the season. Colorado has not been running back heavy by any means. They haven't committed to the run. It's actually been my main criticism of whoever's calling the plays. I think they've abandoned it too quickly. I also think Shedeur Sanders audibled out of too many run plays, but I mean, can you blame them, right? They weren't doing much, and the offensive line wasn't doing much. But I think Colorado really needs to figure out a way to complement their quarterback situation, whether it's Caden Salter, Julian Lewis is the future. You have to have a strong run game around him because you can't expect every quarterback that walks through Boulder to just show up and be the second coming of Shedeur Sanders. Because guess what? Although Shedeur fell in the draft, although Shedeur isn't viewed in the same respect as I think most people around Boulder view him. He was a great player. He masked a lot of flaws. He made a lot of big plays. So getting top-tier running backs to come to Colorado is the next step, I think, for Coach Prime recruiting-wise. Right? He's recruited top receivers. He's recruited top offensive linemen, quarterbacks, corners. Right? Running back is the next thing. And at the college level, a good running back can make a huge difference. Right? Ohio State had 2 great running backs in Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins. They won the title. Notre Dame, their offense was predicated on running the ball. Right? The teams that are having success, and I mean, it's Cam Scadaboo, right, from Arizona State. He kind of carried that team on his back. Granted, they had Tyson, former Colorado receiver, and Sam Levitt, the quarterback, were balling out too, but Tyson was injured, right? And they turned to Scadaboo as they were struggling against Texas to get them back in the game. And so a strong run game can open up so many doors. And I think Colorado needs to not only push for these talented running back recruits, but they need to commit to the run game this upcoming season. Otherwise, all of this will be for nothing. And right, you can say whatever you want about running back and they can say whatever you want about Colorado's been saying, hey, we're going to run the ball this year. We're going to shove it down team's throats. Until they do it, I think it's going to be hard for them to get top running back. So it's good that they got a guy like Edwards in the room or in the building for a visit. But now they have to show him that, like, hey, you won't waste your time coming here. That's just how it goes. So appreciate you guys for tuning in to Locked On Buffs, making me your first listen of the day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow. I will see all you guys tomorrow, and I hope all of you have a great rest of your day.